Now to that face-off between the president and House Republicans over the debt ceiling and a lot more, and spending cuts, of course. Congressman Tom Price is just back from the meeting at the White House and joins us now from the Hill. Congressman, thanks so much. Did you hear what you wanted to hear from the president? Did you get any commitment to caps, and was there any give from your side on any kind of taxes?
Well, it was a very frank exchange, and it was a sincere exchange, I think, on both sides. We heard from our leadership as well as members of our conference and talked about the need to create jobs, to grow the economy, to address the energy issues, and stem the regulatory oppression that many of us believe is present here in the federal government. And the president said that he was on board with the goals of all of those kinds of things. The problem that we have is that his words rarely match his deeds or his actions. And so we're very concerned that if we get the same kind of policies that we've seen out of this White House, that we will not be creating jobs in this country, and we won't be decreasing spending, which we think are the key elements that the American people are interested in.
In turn, did he persuade you that there has to be something done on the debt ceiling and that you may not get everything you want, not $2 trillion, but if you get promises of action down the road? Was there any mood in the caucus to do something short-term, perhaps, or to come up with some sort of a debt ceiling bill that can be negotiated,
no,
so
in fact, the president
crisis could be averted?
In fact, the president said that what he believed ought to be done is short-term solutions, mid-term solutions, and long-term solutions. So he has again adopted the points that we've been making. Whether or not we're able to translate that into real policy and agreement on that policy is yet to be determined. But the president and we clearly understand the gravity of this situation. But we believe that this is a time for real structural reform and significant decreases in spending at the federal level, so that jobs can be created in this country.
Now, some from members of your caucus were live blogging from inside saying that it was frosty. There was one suggestion that Congressman Ryan actually said to the president, you know, leaders have to lead and you haven't shown leadership. Is that the way you recollect it? Congressman Ryan tried to soften it a little bit when he was asked directly about that outside.
No, I think there was a lot of discussion about the demagoguery that occurs in the political discourse that we have. And Congressman Ryan brought up the president's speech at George Washington, where we believe that the president said things that were completely over the top as they related to health care, that weren't accurate about the portrayal of our positive program, patient-centered program. And Congressman Ryan said leaders have to lead. And I don't remember him calling the president out any more than that. But look, the president agreed that the level of discourse has to be much more congenial if we're able to solve these challenges in a bipartisan fashion.
Did anyone point out to him what Bill Clinton said about hoping that Democrats don't demagogue when he was overheard on a microphone last week, an ABC microphone?
No, nobody brought that up.
And what about the bottom line here? From your perspective, what is the stumbling block? And if you could sort of project to what is the stumbling block from their perspective, is it still that you are not getting the caps and the budget cuts that you are demanding on this debt ceiling, and that they want to see some give on taxes, which you're not willing to do?
Well, what we believe has to occur is fundamental reform. There are very few times in the political landscape where you really get an opportunity to change things fundamentally. And we believe that is absolutely necessary. And what that means to us is real cuts for 2012, real decreases in spending from the federal government in 2012, a midterm solution, some type of spending cap or something like that, and then a long-term solution. For many, that means fundamental entitlement reform of the Medicare program, one of the biggest cost drivers of our federal government. For others, it means a balanced budget amendment. But that discussion has to be held, and we have to get buy-in so that we can do this in a bipartisan way and fundamentally transform the way Washington does business. If we're on that plane, then we're going to be all right. If we're not, then it doesn't make a whole lot of difference what we do, because our financial situation here in Washington is getting worse by the day.
And Jay Carney has just announced at the White House that the next round of talks will be on the Hill on the 9th. Are you guys going to have a new game plan, and will they have a negotiating position by then? Is that the deal?
Well, look, we've put out our plan. We put out a plan to decrease spending at the federal level, to increase jobs,
increase growth. Yeah, but will there be a new plan? Will there be some move toward compromise by both sides before the 9th or by the 9th?
What we'd like to see is a plan from the president that is scorable, that we're able to see how much it costs and where the money comes from. If we get a plan back from the president, then we might be able to have some discussion points. But until we get anything back from the president that's a concrete plan, you can't figure out how much a speech costs. But we need a plan. We need a plan from the White White House about how we're going to address these fundamental challenges. If we get that, then we may actually have some opportunity for discussion.
Congressman Tom Price, thank you very much.